It's time for Lean In with Dr. Marlon on CCFM 107.5, unpacking the connection between spirituality and academia.
Good evening, family. As you know, it is that time of the hour where me and Dr. Marlon, we get to talk about his favorite book that some of you have been reading. It is called Academia and Spirituality, where Dr. Marlon's world comes together, where he speaks about his spiritual journey, but also his field of work, where he does many things in university, where one of the things that he does is being a lecturer, teaching. But it's always amazing to know that we have somebody who is called into the academic world, not only as a lecturer, but as a disciple, where he brings Christ into the marketplace. Last week, you got to join us and we got to talk about forgiveness, which was very interesting. A lot of engagement on WhatsApp, which we really appreciate. You can still connect with us on WhatsApp and, comment on some of the things that we're speaking about, ask questions about some of the things that we're speaking about, and we'll make sure that we try to get to some of the messages. As you know, me and Dr. Marlon, we talk until, I don't know, we can talk. And some of you have said an hour is not enough for this conversation that we get to talk about. But, you can take that to the management. Hopefully they're listening to right now, and they'll make sure that we have enough time to discuss some of these complex things in his book. And today, let me introduce the man of the hour, and he will tell you exactly what we're going to be speaking about. And you're more than welcome to join in this conversation. I hope you're keeping warm wherever you are. If you're driving home, please drive safe. If you're driving to work, please also drive safe. But let me introduce the man of the hour, Dr. Marlon. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, Phineas.
You are?
Evening, family. I'm doing awesome.
You're doing awesome?
Yes.
I'm
it's
cold,
great.
man.
Why are you cold?
It's been cold.
I'm sitting in a little jumper, a little sweater, a short sleeve sweater.
It's been cold. I'll be honest with you. Cape Town weather for me is like, I'm from Limpopo. I'm used to the heat.
Okay, I hear you.
So when I come to Cape Town, I'm like, the weather here is a little bit emotional. So I always have to have like a jacket in my car every now and then.
The longer you stay in Cape Town, the warmer your heart grows, and so it will warm up all your extremities, my man.
Listen, people ask me, do you go into the ocean? And I'm like, no, when the waves wave, I wave back.
No ways.
That's it. The only thing that you can invite me for is a hike. Swimming? No.
Okay.
Me and swimming.
We love swimming. We swim every day.
You swim every day?
Yes.
Okay, we're not going to have that conversation.
No, we're not.
We're not.
No.
You're probably going to trigger me with that. But anyway, what are we talking about tonight?
So tonight we're talking about leading by example.
Leading by example?
Yes. You remember back in the day, your father used to say, Marlon, don't do as I do as I say.
Is it still like that?
Well, I hope not. I hope not. But let me just get to the socials quickly. Please join our discussion. 061 798 1075. 061 798 1075. WhatsApp. And we'll include you in the conversation.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it.
Yeah, be part of the conversation. Let us know what you think about what Dr. Marlon is speaking about. I get to interrogate. I have that privilege of interrogating some of the things that he's speaking about, and we'd like you to be part of that. And thank you for always engaging with us. Chapter 14.
Yeah.
Are we almost there?
It's about 8 more chapters to go.
Are you like 80 more chapters in the book?
No, it's like 8 more chapters to go.
8 more chapters.
Yeah, but this time around, it's sort of really becoming. Look, not that the other chapters were not as focused. It was focused on skill.
Right.
It was focused on the inward journey. Now we start looking at how we present ourselves.
Right.
So leading by example.
So this is where the word becomes flesh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now we start things like I started introducing leading by example. What was interesting about leading by example and why I mentioned what I mentioned before, with do as I don't do as I do, is that so many times when I walk in shopping malls, when I'm on the beach and when I walk around, I see how children misbehave. And the children misbehave to the embarrassment of the parents.
Right.
And based on my parental experience, the only reason why I was embarrassed is because the child learned that from me.
So the child is exposing you and you don't like
Absolutely.
that. So rather than dealing with yourself, you're dealing with the kid.
With the child. That's it. So it's this whole projection. The child misbehaves in the trolley. I want, you know.
I want all the sweets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's about this behavior. Good evening, Audrey, and hi, Roslyn. So on the WhatsApp line. So yes, it's and we try and cover it up. Sometimes, you know, it's gone as far as giving the child a bit of a hiding.
A hiding, in public,
In public. You know, other people frown upon it.
Yeah.
and we'll find that it is no different than what gets allowed at home. And that's the issue.
Okay.
Children see what parents do.
Right.
They mimic parents. Scientifically, it's been proven. We have role models from a very, very young age.
Wow.
You know, and you won't believe it. Formative years, about 10, 20 years ago, were between the ages of 3 and 8, for example.
Yeah.
Formative years now, scientifically, has been proven to be from in utero.
What?
Till about the age of 4.
Wow.
So even while the child is in utero, the child picks up, hears, feels, you know.
The mood swings and everything
Absolutely.
else.
And the child now becomes and starts mimicking the parents.
I mean, my studies say, you know, trauma starts in the womb sometimes.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we think it starts when the child is given birth, but trauma starts in the womb as well.
I think that's a very good point that you're raising, because we always looking at, you know, Phineas is always raising the trauma issue, but actually it's about your studies.
Yeah, we live in the traumatized. We live in a traumatized world.
It's about your masters that you're currently busy with. Please just pray that he completes this master so soon he can call him doctor as well. So yeah, it's this understanding that what the public eye views in my kids is a representation or a direct reflection of me.
And the funny
as the
thing,
parents.
rather than correcting ourselves, we end up correcting the child. But the problem is not the child. The child is just copying what the parents are doing.
Absolutely. The child sees the dynamic. And I remember one of the earlier shows, we spoke about how myself and my significant other had to go and have arguments on a drive because we didn't want to expose the kids to toxic relationships.
But isn't it important for children to see how parents handle conflict so that they know how to deal with conflict when it arises?
That's a beautiful thing you just mentioned now. We have kids that are between 21 and older.
Yeah.
And what we have noticed, that as much as they see us arguing, or like we like to call it now because we're much older, eagerly debating, they also need to see the resolution of it. They need to see that we kiss and make up. Because it's part of their growth. Because just imagine you get this half-baked pie every time. You know, you get to see the moody Marlon, but actually Marlon is a 51-year-old. He's actually a 6-year-old caught in a 51-year-old body. Because he has
definition of trauma.
Absolutely, because he has these tantrums.
I mean, we have elders who, you know, by age you can call them elders, but if you look at and you study trauma, you start to understand that people stop to grow emotionally from the day they got traumatized.
Absolutely.
You know, and when we engage with elders in our counseling space, we don't engage with the 30-year-old. We engage with the 16-year-old. We engage with you from the time you experience something very traumatic in your life, because that's who we're trying to heal.
Yes.
The little boy and the little girl inside of you, not the adult part of you.
And that's so true, because it stunts the growth.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And stunting that growth is important. And then we have grown-ups doing irrational things. You know, that is out of context.
I mean, and because we confuse age with maturity.
That's a, you know, we and just to add, of late we've been talking about in other circles. I've been talking about how these kids are born old souls. You can see in their eyes. It's like, I've been here before. You know, I saw a meme not too long ago where the child looked. He was a few hours old, and it was written at the bottom. He says, "Ah, not here again." Because he had these soulful eyes. He had these big soulful eyes, and that's just to underpin what you are saying.
Yeah.
That age does not. It's not a measurement for EQ.
Yeah.
And emotional intelligence is a big thing in our society.
And the thing is, the humility of that is that we get to learn from everybody, and you get to apologize to anyone and everybody. Sometimes even parents find it very difficult to apologize to their children. I like what you said here, that sometimes children witness the conflict, but they don't witness the resolution.
Yes.
The apology.
Yes.
You know, when those people, they will speak, that you will have a beef with your wife, and you will go and tell your family.
Yes.
But the only thing that the family remembers is the conflict.
Yes.
But did you give them feedback that actually...
It ended up in date night. Actually,
we don't give feedback.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
We don't. There's no closure to the story.
Yeah.
There's no closure to the episode. And apologies, I used the word stinting instead of stunting.
All right, yeah.
Just apologies for that. So, important. Here's the thing, Audrey says, but the change, today I say to whoever appropriate, but that what you want to receive in life. So, very interesting. Sorry, I looked at your message and it just sparked a thought. Many a time, when we act as an example, and when we lead by an example, it needs to be authentic.
Yeah.
The best example is the truest form of Marlon. And guess what? And he's not going to be looking out for who am I leading by example.
Right.
A role model, a true role model who role models authenticity does not need to check who's watching him or her.
But does that being a role model mean you have to be perfect? Because some people think you have to be a Superman or a Superwoman, blameless, spotless.
There's a quote that you'll see posted on my socials very shortly that speaks about and it speaks about that brokenness in my authenticity. And how that brokenness, that broken vessel.
Right.
And remember we spoke about Mary.
Yeah.
That had to break the vessel of the perfume.
Yeah.
That's how we release our authenticity. We need to break this false understanding of who we are.
Yeah.
It just amazes me that it just amazes me how we still want to portray this false sense of who I am. Yeah. What social media portrays. Social media portrays me with makeup on and I've got bass and my beard and all these things.
And the thing with that is that the algorithm is designed in such a way that you're supposed to post things that make you go viral. You know? So you can't post anything there that is not within what they're expecting. So if you want more likes, you want things to be shared, there's a certain criteria that you need to feed into. So you can't be on social, you can't come to social media as you are.
Absolutely.
You come to social media as you want people to view.
Can I say in your fakeness?
With a form of manipulation.
Wow. And that's what I'm presenting to the world.
Exactly. But the reality is you can't keep a persona forever.
Yes, you can't.
You can't be fake forever. Even pants, when you buy a jacket, the colors look amazing, but after you wash it
a few times, sometimes if it's real quality, after 2 washes, it's gone. I just want to say, JJ, shout out from Kensington.
What's up?
Yeah, the old neck of the woods. Drive safe, my brother. And bless you too. Yes, it's been a long time. I think where I would like to draw this to is that, and it's been playing heavily on my heart.
Yeah.
As Christians, we need to stand up.
Yeah.
Our city is being overrun.
Yeah.
Our city is being overrun because we are quiet. The worst is when good people remain quiet.
Yeah, but the thing is, we get told, people like myself who are known as activists or agitators, you've always been told that you need to honor leadership. And I wanted to ask you this question. What does it mean to honor abusive leadership? my responsibility as a Christian, yes, my call is to pray for leadership.
Yes.
But is there anything else in terms of accountability? Because if I vote for somebody, I'm supposed to hold them accountable as much as I'm praying for them. But where does honor come in? There is a form of manipulation, and it's a form of silencing someone. Because I want those people to lead by example.
Yes.
Because I'm following them.
Yes.
But if my leader's going into the bush, am I supposed to keep quiet and pray for him?
I hear what you're saying. You know what? In thinking about while you are talking, I'm sort of confronted by this thought of how Jesus had to tell the disciples, you know what, my kingdom is not of this world, right? But where we misunderstand that is that they were introduced to the kingdom.
Right. Yeah.
So they were still in the, for lack of a better word, they were still in the flirting stage.
Yeah.
Of understanding the kingdom. So they had the Messiah with them.
Yeah.
They depended on miracles. They depended on these manifestations to allow their faith to develop. We're a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
We have come through 2 millennia of Jesus Christ, of understanding Christ. And what has happened is that we have taken Jesus as the leader, as the authentic leader, and we have shaped him according to what we require.
Somebody used to say that Africa has not received the gospel, it just received culture.
Yes.
That's why we need to go back and evangelize and actually reintroduce so-called Christians to Christ. Because sometimes we think we are Christians, but that is a brand that we wear. But it's a brand that we get to take off.
Yeah, here's the problem. It's not just in Africa.
Yeah.
It's across the world.
Preach.
It's across the world. We have lost the focus of who Jesus Christ is. He's been leading by example for 2 millennia. We have missed it. Why? Because like the Sanhedrin, we want something out of it while our feet are still on this earth. That's the problem.
And it's a simple constitution for me of the Beatitudes. Somebody asked me, Phineas, what guides your life? The Beatitudes guide me. Look after the poor. Look after the orphans. Look at the homeless. Like the least of these.
Correct.
That is who Jesus calls us. That's, for me, when you speak about the example of Jesus, when I think about those people, that's the example that Jesus wants us to follow. But oftentimes, the people that Jesus said are the least of these that we're supposed to take care of. As Christians, sometimes we end up voting or supporting policies that dehumanizes those people.
I hear what you're saying.
And I'm like, where's the Christ and the Jesus and all of that?
Look, it's and that's the difficulty of looking at our, and it's beyond a religion.
Yes. Yeah.
It's beyond an understanding of faith.
Yeah.
This is about my eternal destination. The course has been plotted. We are called for various things. So you are called to look at that part of society. There are those called to keep others honest.
Yes.
There are those called to bring ministering, like Pastor Francois said at the beginning of the show. That was his calling.
He's an evangelist.
He's an evangelist. But you see, what has happened is that we find this few and far between. These people, men and women, standing their place full. But the majority, we just churchgoers. We don't fully embrace Jesus Christ.
Is it because of lack of discipleship or lack of Bible studies?
It's lack of understanding.
Lack of understanding.
And it's not lack of understanding about the Bible. It's not lack of understanding of what your doctrine is about. You know what's the lack of understanding on who Jesus Christ is?
The person of Jesus.
Absolutely.
Not the relationship with the pastor, not the relationship with the church, but the relationship with Jesus, the person of Jesus. Do you have a relationship with
him?
With him.
Absolutely. And it's the true God, true man. That relationship. And we're missing that relationship. We're getting caught up in dogma. We're getting caught up in doctrine. We need to sit still.
I mean, it's funny, as a doctor, somebody who has studied all these things, sometimes I would be like, I how did you have the balance of these two worlds? Because sometimes I'm like, some people lean too much towards the other one. I've seen even at the academy world turning Christians into atheists because now they are addicted to worldly wisdom over, and they end up questioning even the Bible.
Well,
but you get to hold these two spaces together and see value in both.
I think the understanding stems from, where does it come from? Where does my subject matter come from that I'm studying?
Oh, right.
Right?
Right.
If I'm a paleontologist that studies dinosaurs, where do they come from? You know, yes, we can go and we can say, yeah, they were eggs and they were, but let's go all the way back, even before Earth was created. Where does that start? And if you really, really look at it scientifically, you'll see there's a strong connection between God saying, let there be, and scientists finding the scientific names, or giving scientific names to what God simply said, let it be.
And then it gets to a point where even the scientist does not have the answers because they realize that what was done was supernatural. It was beyond the man's understanding.
But here's the cool part. Mankind does not invent. Mankind discovers. So when you discover something, it's been there already.
It's been there. God just reveals. That's when somebody says, I have a revelation.
God is just waiting for you to stumble across it. And that is a strong component of where we are at.
Let's go back to the children example that you gave. Because I remember I have a friend that used to tell his children not to drink like cold drinks or eat sweets and stuff like that. And then his children were not listening to him.
Yeah.
Until he stopped drinking cold drinks and eating those sweets. Then his children started to listen to him. Because the children was like, why are you telling us to do something that you're not doing? Or you even have some of them hidden in your closet, mom, but you're telling us not to do something that you know. So I think it's very important that whatever we have to be what we expect out of people.
Yeah, look.
Or be what we expect out of our children. But that comes with a burden, though. I think that's hard.
Here's the thing. Let's take that adult-child, parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
Let's take that relationship. And let's mold that relationship to what the church has taught us.
Okay.
Just take that relationship, because it's about the relationship.
So it comes from somewhere.
It comes from
It's
somewhere.
a culture that is being adopted from somewhere.
Absolutely. And somebody started adopting that culture somewhere. It's just that we didn't question it or we didn't identify it. Here's the thing about academia. Academia, used correctly, is about the ability to question.
Yeah.
Now, please, question does not mean doubt.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's why we call Thomas Doubting Thomas, but I don't think he was a doubting Thomas.
He wasn't a doubting Thomas.
He was an honest Thomas.
He was an honest Thomas. And he put us all to sleep because he asked the question that we wanted to ask all along.
Come on now. Yeah.
Right. So when I look at this, and it's good that we're coming back to this leading by example in the parent-child relationship.
Yeah.
Because what happens is we have that parent-child relationship in the church. And how do we have that relationship in the church?
Yeah.
We have been born into a spiritual family.
Yeah.
We accept the status quo of the family.
Yeah.
You know, we won't dare question because the answer that I'm going to get is, my boy, we've been doing this for the last 60 years or 100 years, as long as this church has been established.
Should we blame the parents, though? Because some kids are just rebellious. I mean, I remember my teenage years. It was not on my parents that I'm doing wrong things because my parents are doing the wrong thing. I was just a rebellious young boy who just wanted his way.
You know what is interesting?
Yeah.
That when the seed is planted when you're young, no matter how you waver during the years, you will return to that seed.
Come back home. Yeah.
You will return.
Yeah.
Perfect example, the prodigal son. He left his father's house.
Yeah.
He had good teaching.
Yeah.
He was of good stock. You know, he ended up with a swine. He had a ball of a time, but he came home.
Because the parents kept on praying.
Absolutely.
And hoping that he comes back. There was hope.
And I've seen I've seen since our daughters turned 21 or from 20 onwards, and she's out of the house, how intense our prayers have become.
Wow.
I now say thank you to my mother and father who's no longer here, who's passed, thanking them for praying me on the, keeping me on the path. Keeping me on the path of sobriety in my soul.
Come on.
You know?
Yeah.
So when we look at this relationship, that, and you're so right that there comes time, there will be times when we hit puberty.
Yeah.
There's massive chemical imbalances. I'm struggling with who I am. I'm struggling with my identity.
I don't know these feelings. I've never felt them before.
Absolutely.
Nobody even taught
Nobody
me
told me about
that
this.
this thing was going to come.
No ways.
So my body's shocked. My nervous system is shocked.
So now you throw in the element of social media. And I've got a mobile phone from the age of 6 or 7. And I've now heard recently a good friend of mine, he was selling his iPhone.
Yeah.
And it's sort of middle range iPhone.
Yeah.
He was selling it for about 2.5 grand.
Yeah.
And what was interesting, 90% of the queries were from parents buying it for their kids. It's their first cell phone. They're 6 years old or they're 7 years old.
I mean, I see this all the time where because the parents are busy, they have to work. Something has to raise the kids.
Yeah.
Either the iPad and YouTube has to raise the kids so that mommy and daddy can get money so that they can support the family. But I think that's where we go into as the world, is that we are giving our children things without any substance. Because let me say you give your child an iPad and you give your child who questions everything. Then they have a filter in which they receive the information, then they can interrogate the information. But imagine giving a child an iPad with no information in their head on how to engage with that thing. That's why the whole thing of technology and AI becoming a little bit of an issue. But for me, it's like, how important is it for us to play our role as parents in terms of making sure that our children are educated enough to know how to handle those things instead of taking them away from the children? Because we're very good at parents at taking things away from the children. But the reality of the world is that this is what the kids are living in. If they're not going to find it at home, they're going to find it on the street.
But here's the thing, Phineas. First, we need to ask, are the parents equipped enough to deal with it? Are the parents educated to deal with it? Are the parents educated enough?
Yeah.
Nobody gives somebody that abuses alcohol. Yeah. Nobody gives them a talk at the first drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do we always have to step in and talk when it's already done? The deed is already done. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Len, I just need to come back to this idea of how this leading by example happens in various aspects and in various environments.
Yeah.
So we look at what happens in the church. Marlon sits in the church. He's confirmed in the church.
Yeah.
He partakes in music ministry. He's now in young people ministry, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yet Marlon has no clue who Jesus Christ is. The only clue he has of Jesus Christ, because he knows the right words to say. Yeah. He knows because he has heard other people. He does not have that job moment of not just hearing but seeing God. So what happens to Marlon?
Yeah.
When the wind blows the first time and it's a gush wind, he's uprooted immediately.
Somebody said, if you're only in love with God, I think there's a saying. It's not. They didn't quote God in it, and I think the way it went was, be careful with people who are in love with your flowers, not with your roots.
Yeah.
Because when autumn comes,
flowers die.
Go away.
Yeah, flowers die.
Because sometimes in Christianity we like the flowers.
Yes.
We are connected to the flowers.
Yes.
To the signs and the wonders and the miracles, but not the roots.
Yeah.
We forget that Jesus is the one that makes us fruitful.
Correct.
And without him, we are nothing.
We're nothing. Yeah. So when we take his example as a role model, he offended he offended lots of people because he spoke the truth.
Yeah. He started in the church.
And that's where he started.
Yeah.
He cleaned the Father's temple. Right? He walked in there, gave them a reading.
Yeah.
And they were gobsmacked. Do we really find ourselves in the condition that the Jews were? still asking, is this the Messiah? Because we are preaching down various avenues.
Sometimes I wonder how we would treat Jesus if he came in with the same kind of message
No, look,
to our world today, and what will happen to him. I honestly think we'll still persecute him.
yeah, look,
Because Jesus was, yes, he was kind.
I think his excommunication from the world will be much quicker than what it was 2,000 years ago.
Really?
At the rate that social media works. They'll probably say, here's this crazy dude.
Yeah.
He's speaking about this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So again, role modeling,
Yeah.
learning from example.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Have we ever questioned, could this be the wrong example?
Mm.
Could this interpretation of what is, we spoke last week and just before we went on air. Guess how many Christian denominations there are in the world today? Take a wild guess.
200.
35,000.
And the question is why? Because we worship in the same God.
It's because everybody interprets not the God,
Yeah.
not Jesus Christ, but the way to Him. Everybody interprets that differently.
Or maybe it's because we like our preference.
Exactly.
We worship our preference. We want what we prefer. Oh, this is not the kind of worship
It's
that
not
I
the
like.
worship that we want. No, I want to worship Him in this way. But they don't allow me to worship Him this way. And then I get to another group that says to me, no, we the chosen. We going with when the Lord sent His Son to fetch us.
Yeah.
So, look, guys, my ticket has been booked already. Like we were at the Idols competition with my golden ticket.
Yeah.
So we have we created these false these false expectations of the church.
Somebody said we have split God into different characters.
Yes.
So God is a sovereign God. He's a peaceful God. He's a joyful God. And sometimes, I grew up in a charismatic church. We were used to the joy of the Lord. If there was no joy in the church on Sunday, something is wrong.
Yes.
And then I'll go to another church, St. John's Church, one of the churches that really, really discipled me. And it was very reverent, very quiet.
Yeah.
And I would be like, in my head, I would be like, there's no God here. Because I'm used to this move of God, that now I'm in a quiet place, I feel like it's not there.
It was euphoric.
But then when I learned about his character
and his nature,
and I was like, God can be whatever He wants anywhere.
Correct.
And I should never box Him into a specific character as, no, God is only like this.
Absolutely.
No, God can be whatever He wants. But I think sometimes we split Him into different pieces. We become divided. And I'm like, God does not move in disunity. He moves in unity.
Absolutely. As the last resort, Jesus turns to His disciples and says, who do you say I am? Because look, dude, if you guys get it wrong as well.
And if we get it wrong, how can we tell the world to get it right?
You know what I'm saying? But can you imagine? I would be sitting there on the edge of my seat going, boys, if we get this wrong, then this guy might as well leave now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he asks His disciples, who do you say I am? Peter then says, you are the Son of the living God.
Come on.
Now, when you have that clarity about who Jesus is, then you won't be fazed. Then you will stand up for the truth. You will become that martyr. Now, when we speak about martyrdom, we're not just speaking about martyrdom of the flesh. But let's start with martyrdom in the spirit. That I give up that identity which I so much love.
Come on.
Because that's where the role modeling starts. The role modeling starts with Marlon looking at who Marlon is and saying, if Jesus is the gold standard, and I can tell you now already, Phineas, that I'm not impressed. I'm just going, wow, but I fall short. And then just further on in the Bible, it says to me, my grace is sufficient for you. I will pick you up, dude. Your heart must just be in the right place.
Listen, none of us are at that standard of who Jesus is. That's why when sometimes I'm very careful with calling myself a Christian. What I usually tell my friends is that I'm becoming a Christian. Every day I'm called to die to Phineas and uphold who this Christ is and be a student of peace, of justice, of love, of mercy. But it's not something that I will say that I have a PhD in.
Yeah.
It is something that I feel like I'm always being challenged.
Always.
Because it's not always I want to be like Jesus.
Yeah.
Listen, there's sometimes I don't want to turn the other cheek.
No, I don't want
I want to
to.
lay hands, and
And I want to throw hands as well, you
I want
know.
to throw hands. But then the beauty of having mentors.
Absolutely.
Of say, hey, Finn, that's not remember who you are.
Yeah.
That's why I appreciate mentors so much, because sometimes you want to act out of the flesh. Then you have people that call you and say, hey, remember who you are.
Yeah.
Remember who you're representing.
Correct.
Remember the kingdom that you're representing.
Correct.
You're not representing Phineas, you're representing Jesus.
Absolutely.
Is Jesus happy with you right now? No, he's not. So act accordingly.
So here's a kicker. If Jesus is our role model, there will be no division. If Jesus is our role model, there would be no interpretations other than Jesus. If Jesus is the role model.
Wow.
If he's my role model. Because if he's my role model, then I'm truly going to understand that the Holy Spirit, he has given not just to comfort me, but also to complete his work within me.
And we will realize that our humanity in one another. That
Yes.
we are God's image.
Absolutely.
All people, all made in the image of God.
Yes.
And based on that, we treat each other like sons and daughters.
Absolutely. And again, I want to say, and I'll say it as long as this program continues, Christians rise up. Christians rise up in your spirituality, in your faith to your God.
Yeah.
You have been bought with a price, and yet you flounder it for your plate of lentil soup.
You know what is hard? I remember I was there's a cost though. And I think sometimes that's the fear.
There is a cost.
There's a cost.
No, absolutely.
Salvation is free, but discipleship comes at a cost. I'm being discipled right now, and sometimes, to be honest with you, I don't want to do the things that I do. Those who follow me on social media know what I stand for. There's certain times where I'm like, I want to be quiet. I don't want to talk about this because I don't want to lose friends. I don't want to lose family. I don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose all these things. But I realized if you look at the life of the disciples, they lost a lot. You cannot follow Jesus and not lose the things of the world.
You will lose your brother and your sister. You will lose your mother and your father for my name's sake.
You cannot hold on to Jesus and hold on to the world.
No ways, you can't.
And I have to accept that right now, that Phineas, I cannot hold on to power and hold on to Jesus. I cannot hold on to money and hold on to Jesus.
But here's the thing, Phineas. If you consider that in an environment, you are holding on to things that you are going to force to let go of when you close your eyes.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
come hello, high water.
Yeah.
The things that you are fighting for of this earth, somebody else is getting it after this.
Yeah, come on. Amen.
Right?
Amen.
So,
Amen.
so be a little bit wiser.
Yeah.
And fight for those things which are eternal.
Yeah.
Because these things that are transitory, which we have now, will be taken away eventually, whether you like it or not.
That's why I told somebody that I'd rather die now than to die later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather die to myself now
Correct.
than to die later.
You know,
because I think that's the whole thing of following Jesus. In YWAM they call it, DTS. I call it dying to self.
Yes.
Like that's the calling of following Jesus. Is the glory, but there's the fellowship of the suffering, which I think sometimes as Christians we don't want that part, because it's not a good role model.
It's not
for Christ.
No, it's not, because it has been portrayed as a sign of weakness. It has been portrayed as a sign of being timid.
Yeah.
All these things is contrary to what Superman, Spider-Man, Aquaman, and all these superheroes of the world speak about.
But we also don't realize all those superheroes, all of them had a weakness.
They did.
They were human.
The humanity.
There
Absolutely.
was the humanity. So for me, my question for you, I think, is how do you follow Jesus as an example, but be human, not in a sinful way, but recognize that you Phineas, yes, you're following Jesus, but you're not a perfect human being, and sometimes you are gonna fall, and you're gonna have to apologize to people who are following you. But I think sometimes as leaders, which is a huge part of your book, we're not very good at taking ownership
Phineas,
for where we have messed up.
You asked my advice, and I'll give it to you.
Yes.
And here's how it goes. I struggle each and every moment of my existence to live up to this name of Jesus. Each and every moment of my existence. I've implemented little things such as when I am not busy working and I am caught in idle thought, I pray the Our Father. Right?
Yeah.
So those are the small things that keeps
especially
me
in traffic.
that keeps me focused. I pray it loud.
Yeah.
I pray it slow.
Yeah.
I pray it with different emphasis on different words.
Right.
Here's the thing about being a disciple of Christ.
Yeah.
It is not about the end. It is about the process.
Come on now.
It's about being there and hammering it
Yeah.
at it every single day, a little bit at a time. Do you know, I realized this morning, early hours of this morning, that if I knew Marlon as a person, he wouldn't even make my top 10 list. So if I knew Marlon as a person, I wouldn't want to be friends with him. So how does that put me in relationship to Jesus Christ?
I mean, there's a saying that preach the gospel and if necessary use words.
If necessary. So your life must be that legible letter.
We are the platform.
We must take up that role model.
We are ambassadors.
Absolutely. That's what Jesus wants. Jesus wants me, you. He wants us to bring testimony. And there you've just said it. You don't even need words.
Yeah.
Let my life be the testimony.
People look at you and they're like, you smell. Yeah. I mean, that was the thing with the disciples. The first time they were called Christians.
Yeah.
How they were called Christians because there was an example.
Correct.
You know, they didn't have to say they were Christians.
No.
They were called Christians because
Absolutely.
the way they were living,
the way they were conducting
Christ-like.
themselves. And that is part of leading by example, this chapter that we're speaking about now.
Yeah.
Because here we move along in our everyday existence and we think that becoming fully fledged and fully integrated into the body of Christ is going to happen at one glorious moment. It does not happen in one glorious moment.
What's the English word? Is it sanctification? What is that process word of becoming like Jesus and the patience of becoming like Jesus?
When you're talking about the sanctification?
Yeah, when you are being refined into and molded.
Wow.
Some of us, we don't like the process, by the way.
No, like the gold in the fire, tried in the fire. No, listen. No, that hurts. Lord, wait. No, give me an easier life.
Yeah.
You know, I really don't want. I actually want the car, and I want this, and I want that.
Yeah.
Because
but I don't want the responsibilities.
Yeah. Look, I don't really want to work for this. But guess what? Now he takes away everything. He doesn't take it away. Wow. You were distracted. You lost everything. Right? You lost. Somebody said to me now, not too long ago, and the person looked at me and the person says, "Oh, Marlon, do you tithe?" Like 10%.
Yeah.
He was like, "What? 10%, Marlon?" I said, No. You're getting this wrong.
Yeah.
God allows me to keep 90%.
Ooh. Because at the end of the day, this is not my money.
It's not mine. I'm a custodian.
But
I want to act as though it is all mine. I want to act like it's the ego.
And when it becomes yours, it becomes an idol.
It becomes an idol.
Yeah.
You shall have no other gods before me. And guess what?
Yeah.
We make worshiping God an idol as well. Because we don't worship Him in spirit and in truth. We worship Him so that when we look over our shoulders, there are others that are mimicking the way we worship God.
I like in truth and spirit because sometimes we think that means perfection, but that actually means come as you are.
Absolutely.
As you are, Phineas. Like worship me as you are. Like sometimes I'll be, when people are worshiping, you feel like your voice needs to sound like theirs, and I stopped doing that. Whenever people are worshiping, a lot of times right now, I worship in my authentic voice.
Yes.
Because I think that's for me. That's me worshiping God in truth and spirit.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to copy somebody else or the tone of their voice. Even though it doesn't sound beautiful, I mean, the Bible does not say make a beautiful noise.
No.
It says like worship me.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes I think there's that we have an idea of what worship is and how we should worship, rather than actually worshiping God as we are.
Look, I rely on what gets said in Romans 8. That, you know what, the Spirit will echo the deep groanings within my heart. Because sometimes I am so overtaken by what I'm busy with.
Sometimes even the English disappears.
Absolutely. Then I must just lay prostrate and go, you know what? I can't. I don't know.
You have to be a professional Christian.
Absolutely. And I need to surrender.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I need to surrender. I need to say, you know what? I was watching this one interview by the guy John. I don't want to get his name wrong. Romy. His surname is Romy. Jonathan Romy, I think.
Okay.
That plays the lead character Christ in the Gospel
or the
Chosen.
Yeah, the Chosen. Yeah.
Yeah, and he says something profound. He said that, you know what? 3 months before this role was given to him. He was down and out. He never had food for longer than 2 days.
Wow.
The bowls were stacking up.
Wow.
And that moment he decided and he prayed that he said to God, you know what? I leave this all with you.
Amen.
I am not going to work out or strategize or call up anybody.
Yeah.
I am tired of that. Because, and then the lesson for me was, Marlon, aren't you tired of running around and trying to work out things behind God's back?
You know, sometimes God will allow us to do whatever we want until we get to a point where we like...
Where we run out of road? Where we run out of runway?
And it's like, okay, you're done.
Yeah, and that's what has happened. That's what is happening to me. He's looking at me and going, yo, my boy, aren't you done yet? You got a lot of stamina and strength.
How important is it for young people to look up to people close to them rather than people afar on TV? Because the role model thing, a lot of young people, when you ask them, who's your role model? They always point to somebody on TV. But they don't realize that when cameras goes off...
I like this saying that I once read on a Facebook photograph. It was about 2 soldiers, an old soldier and a young soldier.
Yeah.
And the comment was that the job of an old soldier is to teach the young soldier how to become an old soldier. So when I take that, here's the key. Go back to the older members in your church. Go back to the age members, the 60-year-olds, the 70-year-olds that are sitting in church that cannot even stand up for praise and worship, that cannot even sing properly, that we think nothing of because we just pass them by. Go and sit down at those wells. Then you're going to have your experience like Jonah did after he bring testimony to Nineveh, where he could sit under that tree and he could really go,
listen, I like what you're saying because I appreciate all the grannies in my church. I annoy them every now and then because I realized how much wisdom, how much knowledge,
how much treasures
these people have survived things
Absolutely.
that I don't think I would have survived.
Absolutely.
And sometimes to look down on them because we are on TikTok.
Yeah, because they can't use WhatsApp.
Yeah, because sometimes the treasure is not obvious.
Yeah,
it's not accessible.
You must go and chat to them. You must go and dig.
You must go and dig.
You must go and dig.
We don't like digging as young people. We want 2-minute noodles, quick fix.
Absolutely. You know, go and speak to your grandma who's looking after you. Go and speak to your grandma that I see who's carrying carrier bags, and there's young men walking around her on their cell phones, but she's carrying the carrier bags.
She's the book that you're looking for.
She's the book that you're looking for.
She carries the research that you need.
Guess what? She will save you from so much grief just because when you listen to her. Just listen.
I just want to double check this saying with you that I always believed in. I used to tell some of the young people that I mentor that don't look up to me. Because you make it impossible for me to be human. Because sometimes I don't want to be a warrior. Sometimes I don't want to be the strong Phineas. Sometimes I just want to be weak. You know, and sometimes I don't get it right. Do you think it's okay to give people a permission to be like, you know what? Yeah, he's our leader, but he's also a human being. Because sometimes as leaders, we give this perfect thing and we weep in private, and a lot of us end up even killing ourselves, but we don't realize that, hey, coming out as a leader and say, hey, I'm also a little bit broken.
The beauty of that
isn't that important?
The beauty of that authenticity that you're displaying right there is that in that moment, and we spoke about this in the relationship between the leader and the follower.
Yeah.
In that moment,
Yeah.
the follower saves the leader. In that moment, the leader is just about to fall. The leader is just about to break. And the observation of the follower that says, I look up to you, well done, keep going, we are all walking in your footsteps.
And that's when the follower becomes a leader.
In that moment.
That's when the child becomes the adult.
Absolutely.
Because
that's when the love of Jesus Christ manifests.
wow.
Is that when you as the leader can look into the eyes of the follower, of the child, of the old person, and you can look into their eyes and Jesus looks back at you and says, you've got this, I've got you.
I think the most intimate moments I had with my guys is that we have connected more through vulnerability and through weakness rather than strength. And right now I don't shy away from being, hey guys, I need help. And how they show up is amazing, because sometimes when you're a leader you think, oh, you just have followers and you just have takers, but you gotta create an opportunity for them to be givers.
Absolutely.
To realize that they have something to give, even with homeless people. Right now what I do is that when they ask me for money, sometimes I ask them for money.
Yes.
When they ask me to pray for them, sometimes I ask them to pray for me.
Correct.
And I realize the mutuality of our relationship right now, that it's not a give me. It's more like, oh, Phineas is also a human being. He also sometimes doesn't have money.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look, our 10 minutes is gone.
Oh, man.
So, let me get to the socials.
And also, we have to announce the new show that is
yes,
at 9.
please don't forget. So, let me first just say, first things first, follow me, like and subscribe. YouTube channel, it's Dr. Dr. space Marlin, Marlin, Hoffman, Hoffman. Please go and say hello to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe. If you want to order a book, my WhatsApp number is 073 011 5617. And please just reach out. Please, if you just want to chat, if you just want to say hi, just reach out. We're really building on it's not an idea. We really want to build on the ministering of Christians Arise.
Yeah.
Please, Christians arise. Make your voice be known, if not for yourself, but for your Savior.
Yeah.
Once again, it's been awesome, my brother.
Listen. We need that 2 hours at some point. I hope we'll graduate to that, because it doesn't do justice. Reading your book and having this discussion, I'm like, I need 5 hours with this man.
Wow.
It's always an honor to talk with you about this complex. And I'm really grateful that you're calling out the church. And by the way, we are part of that church.
Yes, we are the church.
We're not separate from what we're actually speaking about. I have to call Dr. Marlin higher. You need to call me higher.
Absolutely.
Whenever I'm not acting like a Christian, it is your responsibility to say, hey, son, that's not how we talk. This is not how we do things.
How we do things,
that's
man.
Yeah. Remember where you come from, brother.
Yeah, code of conduct, man.
What's the
read our code of conduct.
That's the code of conduct. That's not how we act online, because sometimes I look at some things like that online, on how we Christians treat each other online.
Absolutely.
I'm like, is that Christ-like? And my friends know me that whenever we debating on social media, I usually call them out for coffee and tea. And it's amazing what happens when we have coffee and tea, because we get to see each other and we get to see Jesus in the midst of all of that. But anyway, friends, family, thank you so much for tuning in to Leaning In with Dr. Marlin from 6 until 7 on the dot. I am so sorry. I know we talk a lot, and sometimes we don't get to some of your messages, but a lot of what we're speaking about, it gets fed by the messages that you get to send to us. But anyway, God bless you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Take care.